Nurgle followers have a nasty habit of having their bodies bloat and decay, thanks to their god's blessings. As such, their skin will often go through its very own metamorphosis, covering your maggotkin of Nurgle with bruising, sores, and more. And that's exactly what I'll be showing you today by painting up 3 different schemes for you to try out on your very own Rotten Warriors. So buckle up, get your paintbrushes ready, and let's get painting. We have the list of paints being used to paint these putrid warriors on screen now. Feel free to swap out any of these or ones you prefer. Along with these, the list includes the tools used to get these guys looking their best. As for the undercoats, I've chosen Wraithbone Spray, which will help out massively for the lighter skin tones. I'll also apply a few layers of Wraithbone to each model from the pot before we get stuck in. This will help fill in any areas the spray may have missed. Better still, leave a lovely smooth finish to work on. To start things off, base coat the skin with Catachan Flesh, applying this in a few thin layers. We'll want to let some of the undercoat come through, as this will help you see where the details in the skin are and show you where the highlights can be placed later. Keep the paint thin and remove excess paint from the brush. If there is a hint of patchiness underneath, this will all be good, as it's going to let the next colour really shine through. That being Volupus Pink. Mix 1 part of this with 2 parts Lamia Medium and apply this all over the skin. It'll darken the recesses while giving the brown skin a sour, pinkish hue. Apply this lightly and avoid overloading the model. We really don't need too much on the brush. It'll give you more control over where the paint goes and can be added a few times around any mutated, decaying skin for a really putrid look. Plus this colour will start to come through a bit more over any slightly lighter patches, giving a more gruesome feel. Next, layer the skin with some thinned Blood Reaver Flesh, aiming for the highest point of the curves while leaving the darker colour on show underneath any skin detail. This adds a bit of warmth back into the skin tone too. Finally, add a highlight of Night Questor Flesh to any area where his curves meet, leaving a little of the darker contrast on show between each colour. Now for something that's decaying, we'll want to desaturate it just a little more. I'm painting a finer highlight with Slaanesh Grey through the previous highlight, which will do the trick. As Blood Reaver Flesh has a bit of purple in it, this colour will match it perfectly. This only needs to be painted on the most raised areas, not all the way through. Key areas are things like the knuckles, joints such as the knees and elbows, and any of the decayed skinned areas. Now that the highlights are in place, I'll add a few added details to the skin. Firstly, some bruising. Let's thin a bluish green colour like a Keelian green, mixing 1 part of this with 3 parts Lamian Medium. With this, place a small amount onto the skin and with a clean, damp brush, spread this slightly around the edges to blend the colour in. This will work over the main skin, but definitely paint this over any of the mutated and boil-ridden areas. Speaking of boils, let's define those by adding Deepkin Flesh to the tops of any boil and spot. Next, using Flesh Tearers Red straight from the pot, gently apply this around any of the open sores, even adding a little blood drip if you fancy. And there you have it, 1 decaying skin tone down. Now to the next one. First things first, apply a base coat of Flayed One Flesh over the skin. A couple of thin layers will do nicely, plus the Wraithbone undercoat makes this step super easy. Then to add the depth, thin 1 part Guilliman Flesh with 2 parts Lamian Medium and apply this all over. And just remember to soak up any excess to avoid any pooling. Once this has dried, paint a layer of Flayed One Flesh over the skin once more, leaving the shaded areas with a darker tone. This will leave us with a nice fleshy start for this light skin tone. We'll want a dry brush for this next bit, using this to apply the aptly named Pallid Witch Flesh across the surface of the skin to, well, give the skin a pallid finish. This picks out the details, lightening the colour and in no time at all. Now to make all the boils and open wounds stand out. First, thin 1 part Volupus Pink with 3 parts Lamian Medium and apply this all over any of the mutations, boils, or deep folds in the skin. Apply in sections and use a clean, damp brush to move the paint around on the flatter parts. But make sure this settles in the deeper recesses. This will start to give the skin a bruised, swollen look. Build the layers up slowly, especially around the diseased parts, like this guy's foot, until you have a dashing pink soreness. Using a damp brush is key here. It'll let you blend the colour out and stop any unwanted drying lines from appearing. Then mix 1 part Flesh Tearers Red with 2 parts Lamian Medium and let this flow into any open wound. If you're up for it, try adding some blood drops for added freshness. By adding very thin layers of colour subtly shifts the skin tone, leaving it full of Nurgle's blessings. For the more demonically inclined, how about the greenish colour seen on a lot of Nurgle characters? Start by base coating Ironrack skin with a few thin layers. Next, mix 1 part Gutripper Flesh with 3 parts Lamian Medium for a lighter tone and apply this over the whole skin. This wants to be a light layer to tint the skin green, so be sure to soak up any excess in the recesses. Then apply a second layer, this time to the undersides of the rolls of fat to add shading. Then to push the shading further, I'm applying Creed Camo with the same thin consistency into the deepest recesses to push the values, giving us a pretty decent greenish skin tone already. But let's go a step further. First, let's define the skin with an edge highlight of deepkin flesh. Keep it minimal. Only a few on the raised skin will do the trick, along with picking out the boils. Now to add some alternative colour. With our go-to thin mix of Volupus Pink, add a bit of this at a time to the skin, each time blending the colour out with a clean, damp brush. Aim for the folds, mutations, and those all-important boils, repeating this until you're satisfied. The last thing to do is to paint Flesh Terrors red straight from the pot into those open wounds, even adding a few blood drops here and there. This completes our demonically green paint scheme, filling it full of disgusting tones. I've had a blast painting these putrid skin tones, and I hope you picked up a few handy tips to take forward in your very own schemes. For more painting videos, head on over to our YouTube channel, or if you need more hands-on help, you can always pop into one of our Warhammer stores where our friendly staff will be more than happy to help. Thanks for watching, ciao for now.